I recently came across a quote by author Brianna Wiest, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. It is easy to tell how you are doing in life. When you go outside, how beautiful is the flower? That is how you know. And when I read that, I realized something a little unsettling. I couldn't remember the last time I went outside and actually looked at a flower. Like, really looked at it, took in its beauty and smelled it and just appreciated the colors of it. And if I was missing something as simple as that, what else had I stopped noticing? I started wondering what might change if I started looking for beauty on purpose. So I gave it a week, 3 alarms a day, and my only job was to stop and notice beauty wherever I happened to be when that alarm went off. No planning, no prepping, just complete presence. I thought it would be simple. I didn't expect it to change how I saw everything. At first, I noticed the obvious stuff, and it was all stuff that you would kind of expect to notice, like the frame art in my hallway or a desktop backdrop that was particularly pretty, or the way the sunlight was kind of coming in through the window. It was cute, it was pleasant, fine. But after a couple days, something started to feel off. The alarms would go off, and I'd start to look around and think, is this it? Had I already found all the beauty that there is to find? It started to feel forced, kind of like I was trying too hard to feel something. And so I decided to change a few things up. First, I shifted the alarm times. Noticing beauty at the exact same time during the day started making it feel a little predictable. So I started mixing things up. Now, some alarms caught me in the middle of a snack, or while I was brushing my teeth, or zoning out at my desk. Second, I stopped relying on only what I could see and started paying attention to everything else. I noticed textures like the warm softness of my favorite robe or the way my notebook felt underneath my fingers while I was writing. I listened to sounds like the birds chirping on the balcony or laughter in the hallway. I even started pulling up random memories, like this one sunset that I still think about, or nights out with friends dancing until the sun came up. Once I let go of the pressure to find something beautiful, it started showing up in all of the most unexpected ways. One day I was walking down the hallway of my apartment and I passed a piece of art that I have hung up that I probably looked at over 100 times. But instead of just looking at it, I actually put my fingers on it and started running my hands across the raised texture and just really noticing the details of this painting and how it felt. And I realized I had never touched this painting before. It actually made me feel a little giddy, like I was breaking some kind of rule. That's when I realized beauty isn't just something to see, it's something to interact with. And there were moments that surprised me even more, like when I reached for my coat and actually stopped to look in my overstuffed closet. So many coats, too many coats, honestly. But instead of feeling guilt, I just felt this overwhelming sense of gratitude and abundance. I used to think beauty was in having more, but now I realize that beauty is just in realizing how much you already have. Even the things we take for granted, like a closet full of coats, can be a beautiful reminder of how much we're taken care of. And that reminded me of another quote I love: the more grateful I am, the more beauty I see. One of the alarms went off while I was in front of the mirror. And this one hit different because for years, the mirror was a place I collected evidence against myself. Every glance was an audit, and every reflection was a test I didn't know how to pass. But that day, I saw beauty. And it wasn't because I looked perfect, but it was because I actually looked and saw me, still here, still trying, still growing, still healing. The first time in a really long time, I didn't feel the urge to fix anything or critique anything or shrink away. I just felt grateful to be here because beauty isn't just something we recognize out in the world. It's something we also have to recognize within ourselves. One morning I was meditating when the alarm went off, and I hadn't meant for that to happen, but in hindsight, maybe it was exactly what I needed because this time beauty wasn't something that I saw, it was something that I felt. My mind for most of my life has been a storm, overthinking and noise and a constant loop of what ifs. But lately, it's been still. Not all the time, but way more than before. Now, even when a thought comes, anxiety or fear or doubt, it kind of feels like a stone skipping across a lake, making a ripple, but then always settling back down into stillness. And that stillness, that is beauty too. Because beauty isn't just out there, but it's also in the quiet that I never thought I'd find in here. And then came the moment I think I'll remember the most. One of the alarms went off while I was standing in front of the fridge where I have a picture of my cats. They both passed last year, and for months I couldn't look at their pictures without bursting into tears and feeling completely shattered. But this time I smiled. And I felt something that I thought I never would. I felt okay again. Like the grief wasn't swallowing me whole anymore. I still miss them and I know I always will, but the searing pain had softened. Maybe the beauty wasn't just in having them, but it was in the fact that I loved something so deeply that losing them hurt this much. And maybe the real beauty is that I made it through because beauty isn't just in the memory, it's also in the healing. Towards the end of the week, I stopped needing those alarms. They had kind of been like my training wheels, forcing me to stop, to look, to notice. But the cool thing is once you start to notice beauty, you really can't unsee it. It starts showing up everywhere in your closet, in your hallway, in your reflection, in your memories. And the best part is you don't need to go anywhere for it. You don't need a plane ticket or a retreat or a perfect life. You just have to decide to look. So I encourage you to try this. Set your own alarms 3 times a day just for 1 week and see what's been waiting for you right where you already are. Because beauty isn't rare, it's just been waiting for you to notice it. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you pass by a flower, you'll actually stop and look. If this video made you feel something, send it to a friend who might need to see it too. And if you enjoy little mindset shifts like this, be sure to subscribe. I put out new videos every Thursday. Thanks so much for watching.